What's going on, guys? Once again from the Hillside potato patch. This will be my 2020 project, even though it's still 2019. What do I mean by that? Okay, so I mentioned this before. Picture this: you grow a nice patch of potatoes, you harvest them all, but invariably you're going to miss a couple. And next year, lo and behold, the potatoes, they're just going to pop up, and you're going to have some nice volunteers and go from there. So what I've envisioned here is I had a harvest video this summer for my raised beds in this city lot, back at home. These are the leftovers, and they didn't get eaten. They're kind of starting to sprout, and it's getting towards the end of the season. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to plant these out here. I'm going to make a row of potatoes out here at the hillside patch here. I'm just going to plant this whole row right here, all the way down. You can still see there's still the pepper residue on the ground, kind of the no-till, just reincorporate all the organic matter, etc. I'm just going to plant these out, cover them up here in the fall, and kind of just cover them up with leaves and everything as they fall down here in the autumn, and just let it go and see what happens. Let nature take its course. So I did get this idea. I was reading, I'm not sure exactly where I read it from, but I guess they called it the lazy Irish planting potatoes or something like to that effect. So don't get mad at me, it's just what it was called. But I guess what they would do is they would plant in late autumn. They would get the fresh manure, they'd lay it down so it gives a nice warm material, a lot of green material as far as the organic side goes. They'd plant their seed potatoes, cover them up, add some more compost and then some more manure, etc., and then just let it go. And I guess the thought being that they would establish a little bit in the fall because of the warmth of the manure and the compost breaking down, and then that they would let me reposition here out of the sun, and that they would as soon as it started warming up in the spring, the plants would already be a little bit established, and much like a volunteer plant would probably left in your garden over summer and then through the winter, as soon as the weather and the temperature is right, it's going to sprout up, and they would have plants ready for harvest a month or so before those who tilled up their garden or farms or whatever in the spring and try to seed them out, which it makes a lot of sense to me, because around here, at least with the heavy wet clay, you really don't want to work wet clay. You're going to end up with bricks. You're going to end up with muck. Stuff's going to stick to your feet, and I can't imagine it's good for the seeds anyways. So here it's in the fall. It's had some rain, so there's plenty of soil moisture, but it's not wet. I think it's a perfect time to plant these seed potatoes, and they may not all grow. I understand that. Maybe some are too small, maybe some will, some won't. Some do have eyes already growing on them, so, at least a couple of them may. But like I said, this is just an experiment. So let me go ahead and plant these out, and I'll get right back to you. All right, I'm back. As you see here, one row of seeded potatoes down the whole line right here. This one here is one of the red ones I harvested. You can see it definitely has some eyes poking up. So there are some that are really small, like this one. These guys here, the smaller ones are planted a lot closer together. Here's another red, which is definitely sprouting up. And there's a couple of yellow potatoes and a couple of small russet plants. They're down there. So all I'm gonna do is cover these guys up and, wait till the autumn really kicks in, get tons and tons of leaves, and just pile it up in here. And we're gonna let it go, see if this method works or not. It's gonna be another hands-off project. We're just gonna let nature do its thing, see how it goes. With that being said, the whole hands-off thing, I will, when I get time, come up here and hill up some of these potatoes, because you don't want the green potatoes exposed to the air. They're going to be poisonous. I'll definitely do some maintenance to it, but the point is I'm not going to be pampering or taking care of, and it's going to be as hands-off as absolutely possible. But I do want to be able to eat these potatoes, so I don't want to risk ruining the entire crop by letting them get exposed to the sun. So anyways, this little short hillside update, starting the 2020 garden here in October of 19 with the, I'll call it the lazy potato method. All right, don't want to make anybody mad. So lazy potato method, it may work, may not, but you know what? These are going to get rotting in the refrigerator eventually anyhow. Like I said, some are sprouting. They weren't going to get eaten. So my raised beds back home, the potatoes I'm going to grow have already been planted, so these are extra, just like last year with the peppers. They're extras, so if they survive, that's just a bonus, because they were going to get wasted anyways. So that does leave me with a row up here and a row down here. I have an idea for the one row. I haven't figured out what the other row is going to be yet, but I'll make another planting video here in a week or two whenever I get around to planting the lower row here. But as far as documentation goes, the middle row is the seed potatoes left over from the 2019 harvest, a mix of the red potatoes, russets, and Yukon Gold. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe, show some love, leave some comments, some thumbs up, and we'll see you next time on the Hillside. Bye-bye.